radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio. For the masses. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing? Today's Thursday, October 1st, 2020. We are live. 275 days into the new year, only 91 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planets. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking? How you doing? It's Thursday. It's another Fadernight with open lines all night long. Truly, without a doubt, without question, my favorite night of the week. Hanging out with all of you. Yeah. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. Opening up the phone lines at the bottom of the hour. All right, 747-228-2051. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Yep, Twitter's right here. I wish you could see it. The cameras, well, there's a couple here, but the main one, this one, that's on a stand. You know, it sits behind the monitor bar here. There's 3 monitors, and I can't reach it. So that's it, and it's mounted. It's on a stand, and that's it. So I can't pull it over and show, but I wish I could show you. Twitter's right here. Twitter's right here to my right. Yeah. Hashtag F2B right here. That is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is right next to it. That's Fade to Black questions. You can hit any question. If you don't get through on the phone lines, pop something up right there. Hashtag F2BQ. Make it a question. Don't be a Mark Tarana. Fade to Black questions right there, right? Pop that up. I'll answer your question. I'll see it. It'll pop up right there. Rita's right here. All the way over to the left, that's me. And that flicks by too fast. I really don't have a chance to catch anything that's there. That's blip, blip, blip. And yeah, Fade to Black to F2B is pretty rapid fire. But Fade to Black questions, F2BQ, that ticks by slower. So I'm able to see that. That's why it's there. Fade to Black questions. Don't be a Tarana. Hey, Tarana, 21 hours ago, actually posted a question. Yeah, it's right there. Is the X-37B part of the Space Force? That's a great question. Nobody knows anything about the X-37B. I still say it's big enough to put a person on. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt if that thing's a crewed vehicle up there for a couple of years. All right. Thursday night, Fader night, open lines all night long. Oh, okay. So what I was saying, so the tour, if I could pull the camera down, then you would see the chat room is right here on this computer. See, there's two computers here. This one is the chat room, and the audio only, the radio, the carrier signal for the radio, that goes out on this computer, incoming chat room. And then over on this computer here, this is the video. This computer does one thing. This computer here does one thing. It's not on the net. There's no email. There's nothing happens on this computer except for audio going out. Nothing goes on this computer except for video. That is nothing but video. That's it. It's all it does. There are no stressing of anything. These two computers here are phone lines, and then this one is just my email and Twitter. That's what happens here. Well, it's Twitter always, but there's, it's the internet too as well. I have some internet things going on up there. Like I can monitor the video signals from here and see what the streaming is like, and I can see all of that in front of me instead of turning around and looking at these two computers here to look at the streaming quality. So I don't do that. Okay, so that's it. That's basically the studio here. I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but if you here in this studio, I was thinking about doing a podcast, not a podcast. Yeah, a video for YouTube on the studio here and all of the components in it and how we do things. It is a very complex setup. You can podcast. There are plenty of little boxes, little podcast box. You plug in a microphone, USB cable goes into your computer, and then there's a place to plug in your headphones and maybe a second microphone for a guest or something, a little podcast box. There's lots of stuff out there and very simple setup, right? Okay, I get that. And there's a lot of companies making them now. That's not what this is here. This is an absolute traditional radio studio. Okay, so this is different because we run live. So we have a console, audio only, that sits here. And this console feeds a bunch of different streams and audio, incoming and outgoing. The commercials that are run next to this console, I wish you could see it, there's a remote control. It's big. It's a remote control with soft buttons that go around, a color screen in the middle. It's Tascam. And that fires off all of the audio, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then next to that is our audio interface that converts everything from the console into here. And that goes from there into this computer here, which then goes out and feeds that audio interface over there, which comes out of there and feeds this computer here. So I have two digital audio interfaces, one for each computer because both are carrying audio. This is a video signal, of course, but it's also carrying audio. This is audio only. Two separate interfaces that run to those. Now, all of that underneath here are racks of audio gear and compressors, headphone amplifiers, the audio playback, which is rack mounted, which is the commercials and anything else, any stems that are run. That's down here. The remote control for it is up here. But then, so each one of these audio interfaces have to feed through the compressors. The phone lines have to feed through the compressors. This microphone feeds through the compressors. All of that is inserted, comes back into the system in a loop. The compression is in a loop. It's called an insert for the audio people out there. And that's how this studio was set up. Yes, there are 6 computers that are needed to run the show. Just not one single laptop or anything like that. And it's a very complex setup. Once you've got it running, the amount of cables that are here and everything else, it's an insane thing. But once you get it all plugged in, plus there are speakers in here and that stuff as well, modems and things, computer interfaces that sit over here. Each one of the computers has its own Ethernet line. There's no Wi-Fi or anything like that that runs in here. Everything is on an Ethernet cable. Yeah. So it's a complex setup. But once you get it all plugged in and running, it's actually pretty simple, right? Okay. Yeah. It takes a lot of tweaking, and you twist. There's a billion knobs and lights and things that are flickering. But once you get it all figured out and dial it in, you can pretty much leave it alone after that. So I was thinking about putting together a video and showing everybody how to do it. If you want to take things to this level and do things like it is done here, you can. And you can cut corners too as well. You don't have to have it as insane as this is. But if you want it to sound like this show sounds or look like this show looks, I'm thinking about putting together a video. And there's other things to this too as well. You have to remember, we're sending out video streams to multiple platforms. We're sending audio streams out to multiple platforms. All of that has to get sussed out. I'll give you an example. When I hit start each night for the audio stream, and I hit start, a custom number is generated. That number is sent out. It's an IceCast signal. There's another name for it, but anyway, it's an IceCast signal. It's audio only for the internet, and that goes out. That's a carrier signal, and that goes out to all of our streaming partners, which is, of course, KGRA, TalkStream Live, TuneIn, and their systems run automatically, and Spreaker. And so they are looking for an iHeartRadio, and they're looking for that custom number to come down the line, bloop, and then everything goes live automatically. They're not sitting around. There's not people going, okay, Jimmy's live with a mouse, right, and clicking on something and dialing it in. And all of that has to get set up. And it's the same thing for the video broadcast. That's got to go out, and it's automatic. It has to get set up. That goes through a separate company altogether. Signal goes into them. They pick it up. All I am doing is clicking live. Everything's got to get set up in the back end. And that goes out to multiple platforms too as well. We're not sitting here going click, 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 and sending stuff out. It's all done automatically. I can show you how to do it and how we did it here. It's pretty cool. Okay. All right. That's it. That's why I would love to do a video tour. Maybe we should do it one day. It's never really been done. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it too. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And we can do anything in this studio. We could record music if we wanted to. We can shoot video in here, of course. Edit, TV, movies, anything like that. We can record an album. Everything is set up and complete. Most people dream about studios like this, and here it is. All right, now, where am I? All of that because the camera is mounted, and I can't move it. And I said all of that because of TweetDeck is live to my right. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Okay, let's get to the breaking news. NASA has just launched a new website that allows members of the public to work with astronomers in the search for exoplanets. It's some of the biggest news. It's kind of like SETI. You remember SETI? This is the NASA version of it, and you can go out and search for exoplanets using data from NASA's Planet Hunting Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, otherwise known as TESS. NASA says that volunteers can help in determining which signals are actual potential planets and which are just false alarms. Using the website, the volunteers can scour through the test images and answer sets of questions for each potential planet candidate. It will help narrow down the list of candidates that are more likely to actually be planets. This new endeavor adds to the list of NASA's many citizen science projects, opening another means for professionals and members of the public to collaborate in scientific endeavors. Very, very cool. NASA.gov. Go check it out. All right. Now, more NASA news. Asteroid Bennu. That's Bennu. Asteroid Bennu. The subject of NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission appears to be housing some unusual souvenirs. Now, in case of, it's a case of like CSI asteroid, CSI Bennu. Researchers have traced the origin of bright boulders on Bennu's surface to be from a different asteroid named Vesta. Vesta is an asteroid that was visited by NASA's Dawn mission back in 2011 in the main asteroid belt between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. OSIRIS-REx is currently in residence at Bennu, preparing for a sample collection operation later this month. Today is October 1st. It will happen later on in October. The spacecraft has already sent back a wealth of images and data from the rubble pile asteroid that was formed from fragments of a brutal collision. Looks like that brutal collision was with Vesta. The boulders in question range from 5 to 14 feet and look noticeably different than the darker surrounding materials. Pretty cool. Almost looks like diamonds. It's not diamonds, but it's pretty cool. The contrast is right there. Okay, here we go. Moderna is in the news. That's right. The biotech company and coronavirus vaccine frontrunner, Moderna, announced today that its vaccine candidate would not be ready for widespread distribution until next spring, quarter number 2 of 2021 at the earliest. Huge setback. Washington has already purchased, are you ready? Okay, this is what I want all of you to do. I want all of you to sit down, take a deep breath, and listen to what I'm about to say. Washington has already purchased 100 million doses of the company's experimental coronavirus vaccine at $15 per dose. And they don't even know if it works. Do the math. That's right. Prepaid $1.5 billion. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to leave that right there. Huge news today. Facebook announced that it has banned ads on both Facebook and Instagram that claim widespread voting fraud or that suggest U.S. election results would be invalid or which attack any method of voting. Also, as of yesterday, Facebook has banned ads that, and I'm quoting here, this is their press release, Facebook has banned ads that praise, support, or represent militarized social movements and QAnon. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, man. Globally, from its platform, effective yesterday. Holy crap. Actually started at midnight the 29th. Yep, I'm just going to leave that one right there, too. Today, French President Emmanuel Macron announced that militants from extremist groups previously active in Syria have arrived in the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh. That's right. Amid the military conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan to fight and launch attacks against Armenia. The French leader stopped short of accusing Turkey of being involved in the deployment, but said that, and I quote, "This is a very serious new fact that changes the situation on the ground." The statement comes hours after Macron, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and United States President Donald Trump issued a joint statement calling for an immediate ceasefire between Yerevan and Baku and condemning the recent escalation of violence in the strongest terms. It is out of control. It's just horrible news. It's the last thing this planet needs. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Zach Galifianakis is 51 years old. April Wine's Brian Greenway is 69. Number 3 in the 3-guitar army. OG Fadernight Corey, the waking priest, today. Well, it's his birthday. I don't know how old he is. I asked. He didn't tell me. Did he tell me? Did Corey say how old he was? How old are you, Corey? I got to scroll through 5,000 tweets since the start of the show. Somebody tell me how old Corey is. Pop it in. Pop it in at the top. Just pop it in Twitter. How old is Corey? Happy birthday, Corey, man. It's very cool. All right. Where are we at? Our dead guy's birthday today is oh, man. Moment of silence, please. Cub Coda. 1948 to the year 2000, died at the age of 51. Cub was the singer and frontman for Brownsville Station. He wrote and sang the huge rock anthem, Smokin' in the Boys' Room. Man, I had that 45. Bought that 45 at Tops. I'll never forget it. I went to Tops. I paid 25 cents for that thing and couldn't wait. I was like 8. Tops was, it was called Tops, yeah. Was a department store like Kmart. In Waukegan. I don't know if there was any others of the. Corey is 43? Why do I have 21 here? I have the waking priest is 21 years old. Happy birthday, Corey. Cub Coda. And what a huge hit, of course, the remake by Motley Crue. Well, on June 30th, 2000, while promoting his new album, young too, he just got sick. Didn't feel good. Died the next day at the age of 51. Happy birthday, Cub Coda. On this day in history, OTD 2017. Tragic day here in the United States. A gunman, I don't even want to say his name, opens fire on a Las Vegas concert crowd from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, wounding hundreds and killing 58. Fader fact. Check this out. Fader fact. In 1992. Now, listen, I want you to look this up. I'm going to give this to you. You're not going to believe it. It's been vetted. Look it up. It's crazy. In 1992, the band, the KLF, fired machine gun blanks at their audience at the Brit Awards. Then dumped a dead sheep at the after party. Then retired from the music industry, deleted their entire back catalog of music, and burned £1 million in cash just to say that they made music for the art and not the money. And that's a Fader fact right there. Tonight, it's Thursday night. It's another Fader night with open lines all night long. The call-in number is 747-228-2051. And now I need to hit this River Moon Coffee. Phone lines are going to be open here in a second. Get ready for that. 747-228-2051. Right now, I need to hit this River Moon Coffee. Oh, man, it's Thursday night. RiverMoonCoffee.com. Yeah. We got a big announcement with River Moon Coffee, and we're going to do it over the weekend. But all of our new products and our collaboration with River Moon Coffee, all of our Black Moon products are now out and up. And it's going to be promoted correctly. But it's out. It's up. Go to rivermooncoffee.com. All of the Black Moon stuff is there. And if I say what the Black Moon stuff is, live going out to all these we'll get shut down. So we got to figure out a way. I don't want to get in trouble. So we're going to figure out a way with keywords. We're going to figure out a way to promote this correctly, and tried to get it done this morning and didn't quite get to it. All right. Now, I wanted to say this really quick. Earlier today, I had a really long conversation with Nassim Haramein, and it was pretty interesting for me because the conversation was all about physics, quantum physics, and for me to be able to engage with somebody like Nassim is pretty fun. I've learned way too much. I've almost gotten to the point when it comes to knowing about physics, theoretical physics, quantum, all of it. The names, the history, how it's developed, who the players in the game are, what they contributed. I've studied way too much now. I'm able to hang. When you first start, and this is what I would recommend for everybody, is to go and get a couple of books. There's a lot out there. But you need to get a couple of books on physics. And, Sean Carroll's great. Yeah, he's a little bit wordy and technical, but he's great. Brian Greene has evolved in his writing and how he does it, but his newer stuff is better than his older stuff. His older stuff, again, technical, and it goes over your head. But reading a book about physics, you're not learning physics. You're not going to learn how to write equations. That's not what it's about. You're not going to become a physicist by reading a book. But you are going to understand what the algorithms mean. The algorithms aren't there. In some books they are, but it's not that. You need to get the interpretation of the work. What does it mean? Because if you look at a wall of numbers and you're looking, all it is symbols and numbers and equations and algorithm, complex math. And you're looking at this, but you don't know that this has something to do with the location of an object and its trajectory or its velocity. You don't know any of that stuff. You don't. Looking at it, you don't know anything. But a book will explain that for you. I've gone off the deep end with it. And so today in talking with Nassim, after we were done, I kind of sat back and went, wow, I kind of sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty proud. It's pretty cool. And it's a great thing to be able to, and that's why I'm encouraging everybody to go and read and get into it. Because when you hear a physicist talk about these very complex subjects, it's actually very simple if you to follow along if you have some of the basics. Niels Bohr, right? John Wheeler and Heisenberg and all the greats from of course Schrodinger and Einstein, leading up, Feynman and everything going through to today. Now, I'm not a big fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson. I've got my own reasons for that. But he's written a couple of really good books that are easy to digest, too, as well. So there you go. That was my day. Oh, also, I want to mention this before we head to the break. Next week, all of you rock and rollers, are you ready? Are you ready? Next week on this program, Ron Keel. Ron Keel of Steeler, of Keel, one of the great voices in all of rock and roll, and certainly, throughout the world, but Los Angeles, incredible. Ron Keel is going to be with us next week. You like that, don't you? All right, let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is Fadernight. Open lines all night long. Ron Keel next week. I hope he's listening right now. It's kind of funny. I was going to announce it last night. I just needed a couple of things. I was like, I can't hold back on that anymore. Ron Keel on Fade to Black next week. He invited me on his radio show, too, as well. So I'll let you know when that takes place. It's going to be very cool. All right, taking a break. 747-228-2051. Fade to Black, Thursday night, Fader night. Your calls, your conversation. I'll be right back.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It is Thursday night. It is Fader night. Open lines all night long. Truly, truly, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, my favorite night of the week. All right, 747-228-2051. I'll get to calls in just a second. I'm looking at Chuck Elliott just posted a picture. Chuck, okay, this was posted over in the Fadernight fan group. And it's a black pickup truck. It's a Chevy. And I forget, somebody needs to say, to post it up in Twitter. Oh, here it is right here. I think it's Kirsten. I think Kirsten posted it. I could be wrong. Kirsten. And it's a black pickup truck driving down a little Iowa highway. And I see this license plate, and it's right there, Fade to Black. And it is the most amazing paint. There it is, Fade to Black license plate on a Chevy, big Chevy pickup truck. Pretty cool with some lumber in the back. Fade to Black license plate. I mean, how cool is that? Now, my question is, Kirsten, did you pull up next to him? Give him the thumbs up? Yo, your Fade to Black hat, did you give? That's what I want to know. That's pretty trippy. What are the odds of a Fadernight driving down a highway in Iowa seeing that? Fade to Black license plate. Pretty cool. Don't know. Is that a Fadernight that's in the pickup truck? Yeah, we needed confirmation on all of this, but it was very cool. Thank you for posting that, Chuck. And there you go. I've loved the KLF ever since I listened to and watched this music video. Yes, I agree with you, Johnny. It's pretty crazy, Fader fact. All right, 747-228-2051. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live. You're up first. Who's calling?
Hello?
Yes?
Me? Okay, hey, Jimmy, so great to talk to you. This is Mike the Millennial I used to call you on Coast to Coast. I don't know if you remember me, but it's so great to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I remember all of the phone calls from Coast.
Great. Oh, my God. Well, you had some of my favorite shows on there. Scott Marlowe, the show you did with him. Oh, my God, there's so many. But, wow. So I had a question before I get to my main comment. I wanted to ask you, when you were doing the tour of the studio, I was wondering if you got a chance later, if you could kind of explain how the phone bank works, because I've always been kind of interested in how the phone calls are, what they go through, what they're connected with, how they're put on air.
Yeah. Okay. I can address that. Now, that's phones for radio are a complex issue. Okay. It's a very complex issue. And so we have to understand a couple of things. One, the phone jack out of the wall, right? You don't just plug that into something. It doesn't work that way. If that plugs, you know what I mean? You can't plug that into your stereo, right? You can't plug that in, how do you listen to it? And when it plugs into a phone, like an old-fashioned phone with a handset and all of that, where do you get the audio from there to go into the console? So generally speaking, audio goes into a couple of companies make conversion boxes, and the phone jacks go into those, a rack mount piece of gear, and then the send and receive, right? The headset, what you're listening to, and then the microphone that you're speaking into, that goes out on two different cables, and that goes into your audio console. Okay, it's a very complex, it's very expensive. That kind of phone system will run you anywhere, just for the hardware, between $5,000 and $15,000. So,
right.
And one of the companies out there, Telos, and you can go look that up. So there's that aspect of it. And then you have to have, for each phone number, a phone line, and you have that expense. Okay? So, and then you have to have, if you've got 5 trunk lines coming in, 5 phone lines coming in, you have to have the breakout box for that. Maybe you've got 6, 7, 8, or whatever it is. And then all of those phone lines need to go into a hardware box, and then it splits out and goes into the console. Or today, with the internet, you can have voice over internet, right? It's called VoIP.
Right.
And that is now, that also can involve telephones So the Ethernet goes into the phone system, and you can have your multiple phone lines in offices, not have the traditional phone lines from the phone company. And then you have that. But how do you get the audio out? It's a whole nother situation. Okay, so now let's talk about what I do.
Well,
okay, all right? Okay.
Sure.
So I use a company out there, one of the biggest out of Silicon Valley, that has a digital phone system product. It's not cheap, with multiple phone lines on it. And that runs on 2 different computers here. And there's a reason for that. So I can have audio coming out of your sound card, right? Your sound card, that goes into the computer. That one computer handles one set of phones. I can't have other things on that because the sound card, if the computer's running or YouTube or whatever, you would hear that on the phone lines coming into the mixing console. So you have to have a dedicated computer that's only running one set of phones on that sound card. Hence why I have 6 computers here. Then I have a second computer that's doing the exact same thing. The one that you are talking to me on now, only on that sound card, only runs that set of phone banks. So now I have 2 sets of phone banks, 2 sets of phone lines, 2 faders. I can bring in calls, have them on hold, and switch back and forth and keep everybody rolling backwards. And that's another solution, and it's the best one that I can do without going and spending $15,000 and paying for 8 phone lines and having all of that expense.
It's kind of. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but that's. We have worked through this for years, and I've gone through 3 or 4 phone companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because, like at Coast to Coast, when Dan Galante has 7 different lines and he presses a button to put the person through, I know their setup's probably different, but they have probably a huge phone bank with different consoles. I mean, not consoles, but the what are those? Where the know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they run a Telos system, a very conventional system. They run a Telos system. I think there's 8 phone lines that come in. There's a guest line, whoever I'm interviewing, that stays on a separate line. There's a Skype line that is piped in through that. And then there's wild card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, east and west of the Rockies, and then the international line, all on separate phone lines that come in the back. And then just like I described to you, out of that and into the console. So
now, when you take a call, do you take the call? Or
I take the call.
Do it. Okay.
Oh, I do it. I have the phone right in front of me, and I have a call screener that is picking up the calls. But I choose. It's me, man. I'm right there. I'm pressing the button, and that's me. And I'm hanging up. That's me. I do all of that.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody else to be in control. Just
That's
like
really
here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, well, it's so great to talk to you again. I did have a couple of comments tonight. I kind of thought this out for open lines with you for a while, so I wrote it out. So here we go. So a couple of comments tonight on songs that have paranormal or mystical connotations. So first example I wanted to use is the song "Genie in a Bottle" by Christina Aguilera. So when this song first came out, it debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts and stayed there for 6 consecutive weeks in 1999. And, this song was really a song that promoted this idea of this mystical idea of genies and attracting love with genies and kind of mystical things.
Mm-hmm.
And this was kind of the song that put Christina Aguilera on the map. So, I guess my question is, do you think songs with these paranormal connotations can contribute to a song or artist having success?
Yes, absolutely. And as a matter of fact, next week I'm going to have Ron Keel on the show. And Ron is somebody that I've looked up to for a very long time. He's been in the game for a long time. And one of the questions that I have for Ron or any other musician out there when they're on the show is this: what is it about the paranormal, supernatural, spirituality, time travel, UFOs, and musical artist. What's going on with that? Because it seems that if you are creative, you're an artist, you're a poet, you're a musician, right? You know, you're creative. There is a connection to things that are challenged by normal society. But it seems to be there. And it's not a unique situation. They've all done it. They've all written about it. They've all talked about it. It doesn't matter who. It could be hip hop. It could be rock and roll. It could be classical. The Carpenters, right? It doesn't matter where you go with this. Elvis, it doesn't matter. There is a spiritual connection there. And I believe, and I truly believe this, that if you don't have to, when I say successful, not successful as in rich or money, successful in your happiness and people appreciate your work, right? If you are successful, you are able to go into the zone. Some people call it meditations, astral projection, and you go into the zone. You go to the plateau. And you are going into a space and you're making a connection where that creativity happens. And artists understand that. They do. Mike, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I've done it myself. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with radio because, you know, I saw something interesting the other day. Why is talk radio not geared towards younger people, right? The advertisers, the demographics, Jimmy, which is, you know, what the advertisers are going for, they're not targeting younger people. And they said the reason for that is because most of the people that listen to AM talk radio are older, more right-wing types, right?
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
An audience.
Right. I don't agree with that at all. And there's that kind of statement. I don't know who made that statement. But that kind of statement is only speaking about a certain type of show, because you can go all over the radio dial and have a 16-year-old demographic. Some of the biggest radio stations in the country, in the world, here in Los Angeles, are an extremely young demographic. So it's who your target audience is. And the second point to that, which is incorrect, it comes down to the host of the show and who that host is attracting to the show. Because all of radio now, all of iHeart, all of everything, everything now is available not only on AM radio or FM, but it floats right over and it's streaming on the internet at the same time.
Right.
And then it's available in a podcast, and it's not towards any demographic. You know, and that's really the bottom line. When you look at somebody like Joe Rogan. Okay, Joe Rogan, who has got a very large audience that dwarfs a lot of traditional radio stations. He's only available on the net. And his demographic is about as broad and wide as you can get. I would say it focuses on young male, 18 to 30 years old is probably the largest section of his audience. But he's got a huge female base, you know, and he's got an older demographic that is there too. I listen to Rogan. I'm 57, you know, and so no, so that kind of statement, I just don't buy into it today, especially when. How old are you, Mike?
I'm 24, and I disagree with that statement as well. But, you know, my question is, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, Jimmy. When I first started calling Coast to Coast about a year ago, one of my biggest goals was to inspire other younger people to get involved with talk radio again and call in. And, you know, I don't think it's really worked exactly how I wanted it to, but, you know, I would hope I made some difference in getting younger people, a younger audience for Coast to Coast, because that was my whole goal.
Sure.
And to bring in the younger.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. And this is what I have always found pretty interesting when it comes to who my audience is and who knows who I am. because I can go out not only in my neighborhood, but when I go out and I speak publicly and I go to these conferences, and some of these conferences literally have thousands of people, thousands. And Disclosure Fest last here in Los Angeles, one-day event, 20,000 people, okay? And I look around, and the people that come up to me and say, man, your show rocks, man. I've been listening to it. You're great. And I'm looking at somebody that's 20 years old, right? 22, that thinks I'm hip and cool. And I'm the old guy in the room. So that's really cool to me, that age is subjective. When I say that I'm 57, I freak myself out because I don't feel that and things. But my audience thinks I'm okay. And I would say that the majority of our audience is probably under 30. I would say half. Half of our audience is under 30. And that's because the show is cool and it's fun. And we don't focus on any demographic or any age group. And we just don't do it. Yeah. We don't do it. Others do. And I agree with you on that. And it's very tough to, and I want to thank you for the phone call. Thank you. It's very tough you can bring in somebody that's 21 years old to listen to your show once. It's really hard to bring him back a second time. Right? I mean, because if it's not for them, they're going to go towards something that is for them. So you can't have your interests lie just in one age group and focus right there. I don't care about that. I'm blind to it. I'm blind to the age. I'm blind to the numbers. So there you go. Thank you so much, Mike.
Right. Thank you.
A 5-minute phone call just switched. Oh, Mike, I think Mike just hung up. He didn't even give me a chance to say thank you for the phone call. But it's a very interesting thing. Our demographic here and what is going on with Fade to Black is we have never focused on an age group, never cared about it. And so when I go out into public and the people that come up to me and says, can I take a picture? Can I hang out? Man, you're so hip. You're so cool. I'm like, no, I'm not, man. I'm not. But thank you for that. And I think it's just absolutely amazing that's what goes on with this show. Okay, I'm lining up. Okay, the phone calls are flooding in. I don't have enough time before the break to take a phone call. If I do that, I'm going to cut somebody short, and I don't think that's cool. Or I could hold the phone call over. I could do that. What should I do? What should I do? Okay, you know what? I'm going to leave everybody on hold. I'm not going to cut somebody short. That's not really cool. And then have them on. Kaz says, I'm 57. 50 is the new 30. That's from Third Stone Studios. I'm not as young as I used to be. This is Corey. I'm not as young as I used to be, but consider myself young before this year. I look at Jimmy as a peer. Thank you for that. Yeah. All right. The younger generation, this is Gigi. Right on, Gigi. How you doing? The younger generation just simply hasn't been introduced to these types of shows yet. I think that they have. I think it's getting more in that direction, Gigi, but I agree. Gigi's a kid, so he knows what he's talking about. They'd love these if they knew of them. A lot of them just don't know that they exist. How could they? Too many distractions. I agree with that. But he says, but I'm a classic example. Yeah, I agree. But I just find it interesting. I remember mentioning, I've done this a few times on the air over the years, but I remember mentioning some articles that were coming out around, I'm going to say, probably around 2000 to 2002, 2003, and started to repeat around 2010 to 2012. And that was that the UFO community is full of gray hairs, full of blue hairs. You go to these conferences and everybody is over the age of 70. There's nobody young. It's over. ufology is over. This is over. And I was reading this stuff going, I'm not so sure that I agree. Now that I have been a speaker and a participant to all of these conferences all over the place, I can say this. It's an evenly divided attendance. You have kids, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, kids. You have a huge chunk from 18 to 25 years old there. The middle ground is there, from, say, 25 to 35, 25 to 40. That's the majority of the conferences. And then you have that, like, over 50 crowd, which is small. That is the UFO conference today, and I am so impressed with that and what is going on with ufology. So, and who's listening to the show, and look at all the paranormal groups and the ghost hunting groups and who they are and what they represent. That's a whole nother age group. That's a huge flood that is coming into this field. So no, I'm Mike, I agree and disagree at the same time. And the reason why I disagree, it's very simple. It's up to the host on who they want to attract to the show. And if they want to attract the over 60 crowd and they're not concerned with anything else, well, that's what they want to do. Me, I don't care. I'm blind to it. I don't care about age. With that, I'm going to take a break. This is Fade to Black's Thursday night, Fadernight. Open lines all night long. 747-228-2051. And let me see here. I'm just going to give you the warning. Area code 313. That's where I'm going next. You're up next. Turn me down. Get ready. This is Fade to Black.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernight by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fader night, open lines all night long. 747-228-2051. A lot of calls on hold. And let's just get straight back to it. My favorite night of the week, everything is open. UFOs, the paranormal, conspiracy, time travel, lost history, guitars, music, food, entertainment, whatever. Are you guys watching Raised by Wolves? Tonight, 2 more episodes. Yeah, man. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Oh, hi, Jimmy. This is Kay calling from Detroit, Michigan.
Hi, Kay. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, and I wanted to give a shout-out to Corey for his happy birthday. And Kevin's back in the house, so I wanted to say hi to Kevin, too.
Yeah, right on.
Our little sandbox family. And I have a Fader Nut fact that I wanted to share tonight.
Sure.
Tonight's a full moon, and it's the harvest moon. And on Halloween night, it's the hunter full moon, which is going to make it a blue moon because that'll be the second full moon in a month. And there hasn't been a blue moon since 1944 on Halloween.
What's a blue moon?
A blue moon is when you have 2 full moons in 1 month.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's what
calendar
the blue moon
period.
Is. Right.
So there's 29 and a half days of a cycle on a moon, so it can come on the 1st and then on the 30th day or the 30th and a half day. But this time it's falling on Halloween, which it's never fallen on Halloween since 1944. So basically I could say I waited my whole life for this moment. And the time before that was 1925, and I couldn't get any more information about that.
Well, I always, what was funny, and this is how much of a doofus I can be sometimes. I remember hearing in the past, tonight's a blue moon, right? So I go outside and I'm like, it doesn't really look. Is it supposed to be blue? It looks kind of normal to what else is everybody seeing?
it's supposed to be blue, and I did that for years. And then it's probably
Well, you know what? A lot of people think that they really do. They go out and they go, wow, it's not blue. It's just like you've heard the saying, once in a blue moon. Well, it only happens like every 2 years, technically.
Right.
But sometimes you can have two blue moons in the same year, but rarely, and for a long time, for like 100 years before that, it hasn't fallen on Halloween.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And I'm wondering what's going to happen.
I don't know.
With Halloween here in Los Angeles, we've had Halloween canceled and restarted and canceled a few times. So I don't know. And it's on Saturday night, which I'm excited about that. I don't have to worry about the show. I've got my little perch in front of the house. We live in I'll just say it. I don't care. We live in a gated community. So our home, nobody drives on our street unless you're supposed to be there, right?
Oh, okay. Nice.
But this is what they do. They open up the gates for Halloween, and it floods in, man. I mean, it's just like crazy town what goes on. And so we probably have, I'm not exaggerating, we could have 1,000 kids in a night come through.
Wow.
But what's going to happen this year? You know,
I
mean, it's just
sad.
bumming me out.
It's my favorite time of the year.
It's bumming me out.
Yeah.
All right,
it's kind of
Kay.
like, I treat it like a New Year's Eve, and I do some smudging because it's kind of like the endings, and then the next day is the beginnings of kind of like the end of the harvest, the fall. Everything's dying, and then it starts. It's the New Year really on November 1st. I kind of celebrate it that way.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much, Kay. And
always
great to hear your voice. Thank you for that Fader fact.
Yeah, Fadernight fact. And last year, I just have one more question. Last year, you had Karen Dahlman on during October. Is she going to be on with her Ouija board?
Of course.
Okay.
Of
I'll be
course.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, we've got a great Halloween week lined up, and
I'm excited.
Shah's going to be with us, and Karen Dahlman, and some others. So it's going to be a nice spooky month of October. Thank you, Kay.
Oh, great. And go Backley Tappy.
Go Backley Tappy. That's a perfect phone call right there. Kay coming in with a Fader fact. I mean, how cool is that, right? How cool is that? And 747-228-2051, 747-228-2051. Turn me down in the background, just letting you know. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Oh, already?
Already.
That's cool. All right. I thought you were taking a call from 313 area code.
That was like 20 minutes ago. Who's calling?
Oh, man. This is Eric, currently in extreme upstate New York.
How you doing, Eric?
Howling at the moon. Well, as I told you last week, my dog stole my truck, ran off with a red train with CSNY on it.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So right now, it looks like a full moon, so I'm looking at that and let my cat out. But and I really appreciate your technical description of your studio. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's one of these days, I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to put a video together, and everybody can check it out. It's not about seeing a cool studio. It's seeing how it's plugged in, how it's done, because it's a big mystery to most people. It's a big mystery, and I get it.
I've done studios for a couple of decades, so I've wired them myself. But I really appreciate your technical description. It's awesome.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So what's on your mind tonight, Eric?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you about my dog in the truck again. But actually, I wanted you to tone down your physics thing.
Tone
a
it?
Little bit.
Tone it down?
Tone it down. Tone it down, yeah.
It ain't going to happen. Yeah, it ain't going to happen.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
Physics, you know what? This is the deal. When you, and this is why I'm into it like I am. It's because of UFOs and extraterrestrial intelligence and what is out there around us. So I in that research, it keeps pushing me in the direction of cosmology, astrophysics, physics, astronomy, and what is out there and the possibility of other worlds and the distances and everything else, and the chemistry of that and things down at the atomic level and gases. You're forced into going into that direction. So for anybody out there that's had a UFO sighting, go grab a physics book.
Me and you, yes. I've been in physics for 40 years.
It's so cool, man.
I know that.
It's so cool.
Yeah. But you got to tone it down a little bit. Nobody that I've ever heard that admired quantum physics has done one single problem. The first thing that annoyed me was Ann Straber, who said she loved quantum physics. You can't do one problem.
Well, that's right. Neither can I. I watched a course on physics, and I got through about 8 courses in about 8 hours, and I got to understand the basics of an equation and how it works. And this is the deal. This is the deal, really. All physics involve 4 things. All equations basically are going to start with this. And if you understand this, then you kind of get how physics is put together. And that is, everything has a location, a start point. Everything has weight or mass. And that's another part of the equation. Everything has a velocity, a movement, right? Yeah. And then after that, the 4th part of the equation is the measurement. So those 4 elements. So you need to figure out, how something got to point A to point B, the gravity that was involved, how long did it take to get there from point A to point B. Plug in 3 out of 4 of those numbers, and you're going to be able to get to what you need to get to. Everything else flows off of that, but you're going to start there every time. I didn't know that. Well, you just do a little bit of study.
No, it's true. I used to tutor. I taught physics for several years. Okay, there's time, there's mass, charge.
E equals MC square. Kind of spells it out right there.
Equation.
That's
not the real equation. That's a shortened version.
Well, it is, but my point is, you look at that and you can tell a couple of things about physics just off of that equation on what you're looking at. So you've got mass, you can hop in energy, but the basics of everything is location, velocity, mass, and then your measurement. And that's
and charge.
Well, that's something else altogether. Yeah. If that's part of what you're looking for.
That's very important. That's all there is to 99% of modern physics.
No, there you go, Eric.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for the phone call.
Don't go away yet. No. Okay, you have a daughter. You got 2 daughters, right?
Uh-huh.
You remember, right? What if they had a helium balloon? You're riding in your back seat. You accelerate. Which way does the balloon go?
Say that again? I have 2 daughters sitting in the back seat with a helium balloon. I accelerate what?
Right. And which way does the balloon go?
I have no idea. Where does it go?
It goes forward.
It goes forward.
That's physics. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I got it now. Thank you, Eric. Have a great night.
Right, later on.
Go Beckley Tuppy.
You too. Bye. Okay, bye.
Had to hit the cough button with my right hand. And there you go. I'm juggling phone calls in here right now. And so let's go here. Oop, man. See, that's what happens when I don't hit the mute button. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's go here next. This is Fade to Black, Thursday Night Fadernight. Open lines all night long, 747-228-2051. Hi, you're live. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
This is Joe from Virginia.
Hi, Joe from Virginia.
How are you doing tonight, Jimmy?
I'm doing good, Joe. What's on your mind?
Well, for one thing, I want to wish Rita a belated happy birthday.
Thank you for that.
And I want to wish you a happy birthday in advance, one Libran to another.
Thank you for that, too, as well. Very cool. Really appreciate that.
And
there's a 3?
I want. No, I got a couple of questions for you.
Okay, what's the first one?
All right, you only get one pick. Which skull is your favorite?
Which skull is my favorite?
Yes.
That's not fair. That's not fair. No, I don't know. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Why?
Because they're all unique. I mean,
yeah.
You know what? Look, Zeus. That dude is amazing. If you could see him on the camera, this is an amazing. I mean, just a perfect skull. And then look at Yngwie, pyrite, weighs about 10 pounds. That's an amazing skull. And then look at Jose, pure, clear quartz with his brain showing through. Jose, amazing. First guy that ever spoke to me. These are, I have no idea. I have no idea.
And then I've heard you talk about Vader.
Yeah, Vader. I can't pick him up. He's 27 pounds, but he's back there.
And then the metal one.
Yeah, I already held him up to the camera. That's Yngwie.
Oh, that's Yngwie. Okay.
Yep.
All right, now, here's one that's going to get you.
Okay.
I want to make you think.
Okay.
Blues guitarist.
Uh-huh.
Who is your favorite?
Who's my favorite blues guitar player?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I got to go Stevie Ray Vaughan. But Billy Gibbons lights it up, too, as well. But Stevie does it, or did it, correctly. So
yeah,
I'm going Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah, and there's so many great blues guitar players out there. I mean, a lot of great blues guitar players.
Yeah. I like Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah, and Joe's great, and he's been great since he was a kid. He's a great player. He's got a ton of feel. I got a lot of respect for Joe, and he's definitely carrying the torch. But Stevie Ray, oofa, no Stevie Ray, no Joe Bonamassa. So you got to look at it that way. Hey, Joe, thank you for the phone call, man.
And don't forget one of the greats.
Who?
B.B. King.
B.B. King. I listened to him the other day. Yeah, there's no question about it, man. The thrill is gone. Thank you so much, Joe. Go Beckley Tappy.
Thank you. Go Beckley Tappy.
That's a great phone call right there. Joe from Virginia. Joe from Virginia. I can't say Virginia with a straight face anymore without thinking of John Carter of Mars. Can't do it. Virginia. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Eric, California.
This is who?
Eric?
Which Eric?
No, I've never called you before, so.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a lot of Erics that call into the show. So I got to go to the default question. Which Eric? Okay, Eric, where are you calling from?
California.
Okay. Any particular location in California?
With what I got to talk about, it's probably best I don't say. It's,
really?
I'm calling so you can check me. I'm an old guy too, and it's pretty trippy when I tell people, Antifa is basically the same as Hitler's brown shirts. I mean, they're using the same tactics. They're working towards a lot of the same goals, except straight white males are the scapegoat this time instead of Jews. So, I would have thought that was history 101.
It could be. I'm going to be straight with you, Eric. When it comes to a lot of this stuff, I suppose, even with all the protests that we had here in Los Angeles, zero Antifa. Didn't happen. Not in my neighborhood, not on any street. And we had 100, 200,000, 250,000 people in some of these demonstrations. Not little, tiny little things. Huge demonstration. No Antifa. I didn't see anything. And I drove through.
Looting in Santa Monica.
Oh, that had nothing to do with Antifa.
The radical left. I'm saying.
No. Stop with that. But who I saw looting, which was all over the place, was not radical left, wasn't radical right, wasn't anything. It was retards going out and taking advantage of the situation. Had no political, none. There was no politics involved when that stuff went down. Trust me.
Yeah, no, I get you, and I agree. I'm pretty cynical being over 50, so it's hard because they're trying to be so amorphous, and I'm just waiting for somebody to connect all the dots that they are coordinating with each other, at least to a certain extent.
Well, I'll say I don't know what part of California you are in. Doesn't matter. I respect that. But where I live, Burbank, Glendale, and this part of the valley, San Fernando, Sylmar, there ain't no left extremist, no right extremist action that's going to go down in this part of the valley. We don't put up with that stuff. It ain't gonna happen. It just ain't gonna happen, man. They're just gonna steer away from this, and so I don't have a lot of experience with it. What I am very paranoid about, Eric, and this is the clearest thing that I can say, is that news feeds, the media, wherever you're going, the internet is feeding people's minds on this stuff, whether it's extreme right, extreme left, black, white, racism, police, politics, Washington, the election. All of it is polluted misinformation. And it's really sad. It's really sad because I've got friends 30-year people that I know that I can't even talk to anymore. I have to talk about bowling, and even that's going to inflame somebody, right? I got to talk. And that's.
You try and talk to them, and they just, they say crazy stuff like the left can't be fascist, and I'm like.
But it goes both sides, though. What you just said right now, it's both sides. It's not just one.
Yeah.
I know.
It's I'm independent. I think both the left and the right are, corrupt, lying scumbags. But I was going to vote against Trump. But then I realized that America's heading down the same road as 1930s Germany. And I'm like, that's a bigger disaster. So now there's no way I can hand a victory to the Democrats. It would just embolden them, make them even more crazy.
Yeah. So. And that's why I do appreciate the phone call, but that's exactly why what you're saying right now is why I don't do politics on this show.
I don't either. I'm upset that they dragged me back in. I found out I was way more happier when I didn't pay attention to politics.
That's it. That's if you really want a healthy mind these days, watch Star Trek and stay off of Facebook. And you're going to be
live long and prosperous.
You're going to be fine. Enjoy your night, Eric, and I really appreciate the phone call, man. Thank you so much. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Go back, Lee Tappy.
That's what I'm talking about. Love first-time callers on this show. You will always get through on the phone lines. 747-228-8255. 2051. Buddy Guy. I'm going to agree with that right there. Buddy Guy just popped up in the feed. All right, let's, what's going on here? Here with the, okay, I'm going to take a quick break. Let me try this here next. And, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. I'm lining things up, and I am at the end of the hour, and I just don't like breaking up phone calls. So let's take a break. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Where am I at? Am I right here? I'm right here. All right. See? That's that fancy remote control. That's what I'm doing. When you see me reach, I'm reaching for that. 747-228-2051. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernight? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, and putting everybody on hold. It's going to be a fun night on the show here. Lots of calls racked up, man. It's out of control. It is completely out of control right now, and this is a lot of fun. So just give me a second. I am my own phone answerer. And the phones are crazy tonight. It's absolutely crazy. So just stay with me and let me continue to do this. You can see it all done in real time. 747-228-2051. And, okay, I'm going to back out of this, and let me go back over to here. Oh, man, this is crazy. It's crazy. I love it. I love it. I'm going to have to shorten the... I need like, I should bring in like a timer now from here on out and just go, okay, you know what? I've got to limit the phone calls and go with that, with how long I can keep people during the conversation. I just got to be fair. I got to be fair. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Dee from North Carolina.
Hi, Dee from North Carolina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Jimmy?
It's Thursday night, Dee. Come on, man. It's the best
Right?
night of the week. It's the best night of the week.
It is.
What's on your mind tonight, Dee?
Well, I actually had a question for you about something that you and Johnny Enoch mentioned about the Sylvia Brown book.
Oh, and what's that?
Well, kind of related to that. So, one of you, I don't remember which, mentioned the possibility or plausibility of every person being born with some level of psychic ability.
Yep.
And I was wondering if you have ever heard of the Rhine Research Center, RHINE.
Of course.
Okay, so you're familiar with that, and that their kind of mission statement is exactly that. They
Yep.
believe that everybody has some innate ability. I was just wondering if you had ever heard of them. They are mentioned in a few circles, but not a lot of people seem to know about them.
Ryan has been around. Yeah, they've been around for a very long time, and
Yes,
yes,
started in 1930.
yes, a long time. And so when you get into this field and you're researching it, you will come across Rhine over and over again, and what they've been doing. So yeah, I'm very familiar with it. I have to say that they're the people that understand the possibility of psychic abilities, I don't need to talk to them. They get it. You get it.
Right.
They don't need to hear you and I. You and I need to reach out to the people that wake up every morning and go to work and come home and watch TV and go to bed and wake up and do it again and think that that's all there is to life. That there's nothing else. There's nothing else. There's nothing to dream about. There's nothing to wonder about or think about or consider. They just think life is black and white, and that's it. And there's a lot of people out there. It's the majority of the planet that think that way. You know, we've got how many people in the United States? You know, it's north of 350 million. Right? Okay, so let's take the kids out of the equation. So that's probably what, 75 million, 50 million, 75. Take the kids out, right? Take them out of the equation. Let's get to that core group, 30 years old to 60, 30 to 60, that are going to work, paying rent, mortgage, family, insurance, retirement program, right? That right there, that's probably 98% of the country, of that group. They don't know who the Rhine Institute is. They don't think about life after death. They don't wonder about UFOs. You know,
they don't even know it might be possible for them to tap into their psychic abilities.
That's what I'm
probably
saying.
Don't think they have any.
They ignore it. They ignore synchronicities when they happen. They ignore deja vu, right? They ignore these things. A friggin' flying saucer flies by them in the night sky, and they look up and go, yeah, whatever, probably an airplane. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, and you hear about these polls, D. 30% of Americans believe in alien abduction. 35% believe in ET has visited this earth. You know, 60% believe in paranormal activity. Now, you know what? That all sounds good on paper. I call BS. I call BS on that, man. I call BS. I call BS. We were talking about physics earlier. And and you go and you look at a guy, and there's many of them. Okay, there's many, but Richard Dawkins, right? Michael Shermer. He's not a physicist, but he's a skeptic. A whole slew of personalities out there with these fan bases that absolutely are pure atheists. Don't believe in ghosts. Don't believe nothing. No, everything is chemistry and math. That is it. You die, you become dust in the ground, and that's it. You achieve your place in evolution, and there's nothing else to think about and consider.
It's such a siloed way of thinking. Like, what amount of potential do we all have the ability to unlock if we could tap into the side of our brains or whatever?
Right. And how boring is that? How boring is that? Oh, man. Just come
no
home.
Wonder people feel so downtrodden all the time. Like,
come home and read the paper. Have your, sit at the dinner table. Please pass the chicken, right? And you eat your chicken, and then you watch a little TV. Your discussions are about whatever, and you go to bed and wake up and don't think about the dreams that you just had. You're not. I can't imagine that kind of existence. But I guess
rinse and repeat lifestyle.
Right. But you know what? If that's their bliss and that makes them happy, but they are the ones that you and I need to speak to. That's who we need to reach out to.
Maybe one of them is listening tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, Dee. Enjoy your weekend.
Go
back, Lutepi.
You
Thank you for the phone
Bye-bye.
call. That's a great phone call right there. And I often wonder about that. How is it possible? And I realize that there are a huge amount of people that think that way. It's definitely changing. It's definitely changing. Programming is doing that. I think that the younger generation's coming up, and it's movie franchises like Marvel and the Avengers and things, right? Transformers, of course, Star Wars and all of that, but have talked about time travel. You go and you watch Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is everything that we discuss on this show, all in one movie. So, that gets exposed and that gets out there, we win. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Karen from Seattle.
Hi, Karen from Seattle. How are you?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Which Karen is this?
The Karen from Seattle.
Oh, that's it.
With the Carron.
See, I just see. I wanted to watch Twitter light up just for you.
Oh, and I'm sure it will.
Oh, what's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to go back to the question that started the whole big dust up earlier this week. You asked, who is the real Disclosure POTUS?
Uh-huh.
And the answer is just no.
I know, right? And I don't want to. No. I feel like I'm letting myself down. The audience, of course, everybody's like, "Oh man, come on, we got to have hope." But I'm just like the rest of you. I look at it and I cannot come to any other conclusion. Not.
Well, I wanna, hopefully kick everybody's brain into like another square on the game board to look at this.
Yes.
We have tried for decades to get the truth out of the government, and I don't care if it's a Democratic administration or whether it's a Republican.
Right.
Neither side serves. You know what I'm saying? Neither side is going to go there because, like Kennedy warned and like Eisenhower warned, the military-industrial complex is the real power behind government. They don't want this out. So let's stop looking to them for validation. I believe, and I believe it's coming soon, that disclosure, it's not going to be disclosure, it's going to be revelation, the revealing of truth, but it's going to come from the civilian population, it's going to come from the populace. Contact will be made on school grounds, in national parks, in the middle of the biggest city parks that we have, at sports arenas. And I think it will be calm, and I think there won't be panic, despite a government, remember either side, red or blue, don't care.
Right.
The government's biggest wish is to cause panic. There has been a movement now for so long to understand that if they were going to kill us and use us for food, it would have happened already.
That's right. And
whoever's going to come is already reaching out, saying, look, let's just try and be friends. We're going to come down there. We don't want you to shoot us. We don't want to have to defend ourselves. And we don't want to stop having access to Earth to study and to learn and to better and to, better humanity. So I think it's not going to come through any government. I don't care what country. I don't care what political affiliation. It won't come through a government. So let's stop looking to them for that.
Well, you have to ask the fun, and you're 100% correct. So let's take that to the next level and get to a very fundamental question. Why would our government, why would Washington, D.C. disclose UFOs and ET contact? Why?
And they wouldn't.
There isn't a reason to do it. They're not doing it because they're our friends and they just want to just hang out with us and do us a solid. No. The only discussion that comes out of Washington because of this is what we have pushed forward. And so the only way that it's going to happen, Karen, it's just the basic of the basics. It will be because it's out of their control. It has nothing to do with something that they want to do. It's something that's going to force their hand. That's it. And I don't know what it is. Right. I don't know what that event is going to be. I don't, but it's not going to be voluntary on their end.
It's really not, and they're going to get upset about that. They're going to get very upset about that. And we just have to know that no matter who sits in that chair at the Resolute desk, the orders are going to be treat this as an invasion, spin up fear, make them afraid. But those of us who have had experiences and are going to have experiences, we will know better. And hopefully our voices will carry the day. So what you're doing here on this show and what, whether you agree with other people or not, what Greer is doing and what Nori's doing and, all these people who are broadcasting this stuff worldwide are saying, hey, look, experiencers have gone from the scary abduction thing to, hey, I had this experience and it was gentle and it was kind and it was like having my buddies from down the block over to come share a TV program and a pizza. Why would we be afraid of that?
Right. Now, and that is how it should be. Mm-hmm. I don't think if ET rolls in here with the right intentions, I agree with you. There's going to be no panic in the streets. I think we're waiting for it, and there has been enough talk about it over the years that it's just going to be an event. It's going to be excitement for a minute, but after a while, it's going to die down. But if ET comes over the Rose Bowl, right, comes over a football game with guns blazing and laser cannons lighting up the ground, no, you're going to have panic in the streets. I just don't see that happening. Otherwise, it would have already happened.
That would have already happened. But what if E.T. walks into the Rose Bowl and sits down in some seats to watch a college football game?
Well, that's going to freak some people out.
What happens then?
Yeah, it's going to freak some people out.
It'll freak some people out, but it's not a great big UFO come hovering over the stadium. And you know why? Because the experiencers have said, that'd be a bad move. Come in easy.
Well, and
give it the soft sell.
Because yes, I do, and I agree with that. And let me tell you why I agree with that. E.T. Has had all the time in the world to know who we are, and they are not going to show up here looking like an octopus with veins hanging out of their teeth. They're not gonna. Right? They're not gonna come here and freak us out and give us heart attacks. No, they're going to come here looking normal. It could be a robot, an android coming down that looks, that looks like us, representing them, but they don't want to upset the apple cart. They don't want to freak us out. Just want to come down and go, look, this is. Do you remember Childhood's End?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was the whole premise behind the way Arthur C. Clarke presented that, in that E.T. looked like the devil in its true physical appearance, right? Wings and horns and pointy teeth and red skin and yellow reptilian eyes, crazy imaging, right? Well, if dude would have stepped off, well, it turns out they blew up the planet anyway and ended. But if he would have stepped off the ship looking like that, it would have been a whole nother situation. So he had to keep his
lights out.
Yep. So he had to keep his image hidden. How did the communication happen? Through his emissary, right? And had an ambassador here on Earth that did the speaking for him. And that's how it would happen. E.T. knows. E.T. knows what we look like, what our personalities are, what the language is. They've had thousands of years to study us, and they know how to approach us and how to deal with us. And I truly believe that. There isn't another. Karen, check this out. I'm so glad you called.
Well,
you and I, right? Karen and Jimmy.
Right.
And we are on our way to a planet that has got an intelligent population on it, a civilization, communication skills, radio. Maybe they're interplanetary. Maybe they're even interstellar. But if we're going there, by the time we get there, we know everything about them. We know everything. E.T. is doing the same, has to be doing the same thing with us. That's it. There's no other way to look at it, is there?
No, there's not. It's an anthropology study. It might be just a mental exercise right now, but it's an anthropology study. You can't go to a tribe in the Amazon that has never seen outsiders and fly in with your helicopters and your ATVs and whatever and expect somebody not to get shot.
Yep, you're going to get an arrow. You're going to get an arrow in the face. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or ease into it. Or Monkey Island, right? Or a group of gorillas. You're not just going to roll in. You have to be like them, man. You have to study them. Karen, thank you for the phone call. You're the best.
Hey, thank you.
Now
thanks, Jimmy.
Go light it up on Twitter. Everybody is waiting for you.
I'm sure they are.
I'll talk to you. Bye, Karen. Go back, Tepe.
Go back, Tepe.
That's a great phone call, Karen from Seattle. And you can't just roll in. No. And by the time, whether you're traveling at the speed of light, faster than the speed of light, traveling through, you're going to have all the time in the world to study everything about this planet. You're going to know everything. You're going to know every language. You're going to know everything. Every TV program, every movie, every book ever written, everything about this planet. You're going to be on pitch. That's just the way it is. We would do the same thing with them. Yeah, that TV show Alienation was great. Tara, thank you for that. Yeah. You know what I'm watching right now? Forcing Rita through this. Stargate SGU. Only 2 seasons. Stargate Universe. They're on the Anunnaki ship, right? The Discovery or whatever it's called. Destiny. That's a great show. That is really well written. Really well written. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Tracy from Michigan.
Hi, Tracy from Michigan. What city in Michigan?
Bellevue.
Where?
Bellevue.
Next to Detroit.
No, that's Belleville.
Oh. Where's Bellevue, Michigan?
We're kind of like in the township I live in is kind of like a Stephen King-ish type place. You know, we don't have very much, but a cemetery, a church. I'm in between Battle Creek and Nashville.
Oh, there you go. You know what's funny?
I'm actually not far from Kalamazoo either.
Yeah. When I was a kid, and when we would drive from Chicago over to Holly, Flint, and we would, we got the whole family in the station wagon, and we would drive through Battle Creek. And just the name was cool. You know, when you're 5, 6, at Battle Creek, Michigan.
You're looking for Tony the Tiger when you're that age. Like, where is he?
Well, you would see those billboards. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, for everybody out there, that's Kellogg's and
Toast and Ralston.
Paul, all of it is right there in Battle Creek, Michigan. All right, Tracy, what's on your mind tonight?
Actually, Jimmy, I was your 1,000th caller way back, and we had discussed some things. And I ran across a book that just, I don't know, to me it's like, this would be like Scott Walter's dream. But there's an author called Mark Jagger. That's Mark, not Nick.
Right.
And he has a book series called Mystic Michigan and Mystic Michigander. And the stuff would be stuff you'd really enjoy. I mean, they've got a rock face that they found on Lake Superior. There's an archaeologist that his name is James Savage, who had dug up a bunch of tablets and things. And I mean, I'm on the fourth, kind of between the fourth and fifth book, but there's like a series of books, and it's like they found all these interesting things of different towns and different places. They found supposedly Roman remains of a building that looks like aqueducts, and I'm thinking, wow, Romans, really? But it's like all these places is like I can't wait to go and check it out. But but you were talking about spaceships and all that. This is like everything rolled into one, these books. So it's a quick read for people who don't really like to read. But if anybody is interested in these, you've got to give it a shot. I mean, the book doesn't have any more than like 100 pages. Sometimes this one here is like 65, but it's like interesting page after page of all these things of proof that ancient people were here. We have a Stonehenge that's supposedly at the bottom of Lake Michigan, burial mounds, and it's just fascinating. But I thought you might find it interesting, so I thought I'd share with you because you did live in Michigan at one time.
Yeah,
you told me
my whole family's from there, and this is I'm looking at him right now. He's got a buttload of books out. He hasn't written one or two. He's got. I'm just looking. Here's part 4. Here's part 4. Part 2 of part 4.
Yep. Yeah, he's got a lot of series, and it's just amazing. So
he's got a book out that it's the perfect title, Tripping America. But yeah, Michigan, Michiganders, the Hidden Hand, Michigan, Mystic Michigan. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6, Part 7, Part 8 he's got out in Mystic, Michigan. And that's all just page 1. He's got a lot of books out. Okay, I'm gonna check him out, and I'll let Scott know.
I think it'd be fascinating because it's like, oh my gosh, this is like for me because it's like I was looking for something to keep me busy because I really miss watching Scott on America on Earth. It was one of my favorite shows, and I took it off. I was really pissed off, but I understand why he's not doing it because, you know, you've got these people who just don't want us to know the truth. So they hide things, and I can't. And you will find out as you read these books that, oh, the Smithsonian came in and did this. Yeah, when they show up, they kind of like take things, and then you never hear about it again, and they make sure that it's varied. So hopefully, like you said earlier with the caller, hopefully there'll be enough of us to stand up and say, you know, enough is enough. You know, I think we're adults here that you can tell us the truth.
Yeah, well, I have always, because of where I was raised, I was born in Chicago, but I lived in Kalamazoo, and my mom and dad were from Flint and Saginaw, and my dad was raised in Holly, Michigan. And so that part of the world, all of my, they still live there. And when you're raised around that area and you look at the shape of Michigan, it's the hand and Lake Michigan and Erie and Superior and the way that the lakes drain into each other, of course, the canal system and everything, but it goes all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. So you can't really deny the thought of older civilizations way before everything else. Once they started going through the lake system there, that they would have ended up in northern Michigan, or not only in the UP in the Upper Peninsula, but all the way back down into Chicago. You know, and it's there's no denying that. There's a lot of talk. This is another point to this. Great phone call. I've only got about 30 seconds left, but there's a lot of talk of the Mayans going up there and doing mining and the copper that is up there and certain
in the Upper Peninsula, yes.
Yeah.
But this is like all over Upper and Lower Peninsula, these books, and it's like just completely fascinating. I mean, it's like for people here in Michigan, it's easy because if they want a cheap vacation or road trip, they don't spend very much money to drive to a location to look for these things. You know, right now it's fall. You're coming to fall, and it's just a beautiful state to drive through because the tree tunnels, as we so call them,
right? Because
they just lean over the road and they're beautiful colors.
Mackinac.
Yes.
I'll talk to you. Tracy, thank you for the phone call, and don't be a stranger, and go Beckley Tepe.
Oh, I won't. Yes, go Blecky Tepe.
Thank you for that. And it's Mark Jagger, Jagr, 1G. All right, Mystic, Michigan, whole series of books and a lot of other books that he's written too as well. Thank you for that, Tracy. Great phone call. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is Fader night. Open lines all night long. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. I'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to getthetea.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's getthetea.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend. Let's face it, you've always wanted to do a sky watch and see your first UFO. Today, it's easy. Just get your own HP7 3B Cobalt Jimmy Church Edition night vision goggles from Hoffman's Optics. This is the same U.S. military system that I use, featuring a Generation 3 blue phosphor image tube. That's right, it's blue, not black and green. This is the only blue system in the world, and it's waterproof, lightweight, combat-proof, simple to use, and ready to go. Hoffman's Optics help create night vision sky watches, and now you can see what everyone has been talking about each night from your own backyard. Just call 760-231-9929. That's 760-231-9929. You can click on the banners on our site or visit UFOnightvisiongoggles.com. That's UFOnightvisiongoggles.com. Go back, Lee Tepe.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRAradio.com.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fader night. Open lines all night long. Great calls all night tonight. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. And let's get straight back to it. Great calls tonight. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. 3, 2, 1. I just, it's funny. I should just listen. Should we just listen? Oh, man. All right. Well, whoever is area code 801, You're being put on hold and back to the back of the line. And how sad is that? And I said that out loud to make sure that they knew it was them. And there you go. All right. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
You're live.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Tarita. How are you doing?
Hi, Tarita. How are you?
Good. I'm sorry. I was watching the video, and then I was like, "Oh, is he talking to me?"
Yeah, there you go.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I tell you what, I really agree with everything that you're talking about. Everything you're talking about, like when you said ET is going to come down here, they're not going to, like you said, they're not going to come down like an octopus, or they're not going to come down in a creature. They, from what I understand, are already here. They're with us down here. I try to explain things like they come through energy, through lights, and so, I want to just make this like within a 2-minute call here. Like Einstein, I think it was Einstein, no, Ben Franklin, he went out with a key and he discovered electricity, okay? So he had that idea because it's like something gave him that idea to go out and do that. And once he discovered electricity, then we started manufacturing it and putting it here on the planet. So Star Nation helped us evolve into learning about electricity because now we have it. It's through everything. And so that's how they communicate with us. That's how they keep in touch with us, is through the lights. They're in the lights. They're in anything artificial. They're moving through electricity, and that's kind of their way of helping us evolve. And now we get this technology, and we're getting to use it. The biggest message that they're doing is that they're here. They're right above us. Last week, a ship came over Spearfish, where I live. An orb actually came over and was like moving across the town. And I didn't think too much of it. I was like, okay, I see them all the time, and I'm like, wow, that's really close. I'm doing my laundry, and all of a sudden there's like 3 cop cars come put their lights on, and they take off, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? This is weird. So I jump in my car, and I follow the cops, and I look, and it looks like a helicopter coming towards Spearfish. So I thought, oh, it must have been a car accident. This must be life flight coming in. So it's coming close, and I look with my binoculars. I'm like, no, this is not a helicopter. So I take off, and I follow it. Well, actually, it followed me, and I went out of town with it, and I pulled off on this gravel road, and the cops came, and they put their lights on right at that entrance where I was at. So I drove in there, and I pulled over, and this ship, when it was coming towards me, it looked like an M in the sky coming towards me with lights on it, and I was like, what the heck is that? And then it got closer to me, and then it flew over, and underneath it was flat, and it had like 9 lights on it, and I was like, what is going on? And I looked up on the hilltop of Spearfish, and all the way around Spearfish, Jimmy, there was like there was yellow and white orbs all over Spearfish, like circling it in, and I'm like, God, what's going on here? So I tell that ship, I said, well, come back here, come talk to me, what's going on? So it turns around, and it comes back, and it flies over me. So I whip out my camera on my phone, I video it, I catch it on video. It takes off. And what it was telling me was that they're here whenever we're going through a time on the planet and we really need their help, that they're going to come down here and they're going to do whatever they need to do to fix things and to help us. And more people just need to look up. And that's why when I had last talked to you a long time ago, before summer came, I said we can't agree to the negative. Once we agree to the negative, then we have become a part of that. We bring that into our reality. Even though we need to address it, we need to find a solution. That's the biggest thing that they want to teach humanity is look at these negatives and find solutions. They're here with us. They're going to help us. They've always kept me solid with you. They've always been like, go through Jimmy Church. You need to go through Jimmy. And so I don't question things. I don't play around with them. I don't play around with that information. I keep it very private. But I do want you to know that no matter what problems we're going through, whether it's political or it's humanity or whatever we're doing, we as a UFO community and humanitarian people that are doing good for the planet and holding space for those have to stick together. And there's always going to be those ones that are going to call in and try to throw us off and mislead us or question us. And I always say, Star Nation told me, if they're going to question you, they need to do their own researching, because my truth is my truth, your truth, and your audience's truth is their truth. So nobody gets to come in and judge us, but We have to stick together. Don't agree to the negative. And when something is happening global, we all have to just listen to each other and take what we want from each other and then go with it. Nobody gets to be right. Nobody gets to be wrong. Just don't agree to the negativity, and always be cautious of everything that we're ingesting, whether it's good or bad. Everything has to be done in moderation. We're only here temporarily, and they want me to tell you that whatever, they're going to always put people on your show that are going to educate us. And so they tell me, pay attention to Jimmy, listen to his show. I've been kind of slacking and kind of dealing with my own personal stuff, but I've overcome that and decided I need to get my butt in school and get working full time and keep my mind moving forward so that I can keep on learning. And I'm so grateful for you and Rita. I'm grateful for the Game Changer Network. And I want you to know that anytime that I discover new information that they teach me, I'm going to share it with you guys. And the biggest thing is they're coming through the electrical system on the planet. They're here. They're in the electricity. Like on The Secret, it says, we don't understand electricity, but we enjoy it. You can either cook a man with electricity, or you can cook your dinner, or you can use it, for medical reasons too. So just remember that they're here, they're listening, they can shapeshift into anything they want. They can turn into a mass once they get down into our dimension, but they're not here to destroy us. They're not here to do any of that. They're just here to simply help us evolve. And like I've always said, we are the project. Keep looking up. And thank you for taking my call. I don't want to take up any more time. I want to share the time with the rest of your callers. But thank you, Jimmy. I love you guys, and I hope that we can have a get-together, a conference, and I can come and see you guys again.
Thank you so much, Tarita. Be safe up there and enjoy your weekend. It's great to hear your voice again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy. Love you guys. Yep.
Go back, Tepe.
Go back, Tepe.
There you go, Tarita. And do you ever wonder? I'm sure that you do. You have to. Do you wonder what kind of coffee Tarita drinks? Does that cross your mind? I know what you're thinking. You're going through. I mean, she's always got great things to say and so much information, and she doesn't take a breath. She starts at the beginning and gets to the end and gets her point across. But then you just have to wonder, what kind of coffee do they have up in Spearfish? They don't play around. They don't play around. Okay, before I get back to the phone calls, a very important point and question was brought up by TriScale, and I'm going to TriScale, thank you for that. Which is this, and this popped up in Twitter. And everybody on hold, stay right there. You're listening. Jimmy, if you could only have one seasoning or single herb spice to flavor all of your meals from now on, what would you choose and why? There's only one answer for that. Black pepper. Black pepper. Now, and I have my reasons for that. Some would say salt, and I agree with that too. But there's a reason why, for me, salt is number two. And Rita and I have this discussion a lot. I am sensitive to salt. I taste it in everything. And so I get my salt from the food and other things that are around it. Things are, for me, are salty already. But salt, absolutely, no matter what you're cooking, will bring the flavor out and make it jump. You can go overboard on the salt, and then it tastes salty. But if you salt correctly, the flavors are brought out. And it doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter. But if I had to, I could live without salt. If I had to make a choice, I could not live without black pepper. I could not. I black pepper everything. Everything. Everything can benefit from black pepper. Salt, yes, I totally agree. The reasons for that. But I can enjoy my salt inside of my food naturally there. A little bit of salt on the top, bring out the flavor, make it jump. Yeah, absolutely. No question. No question. But black pepper is the one. So there you go. But I had to bring that up. That's a very important point. Black pepper. Yep. All right. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, my name is Misty.
Hi, Misty. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Jimmy?
It's a beautiful night, Misty. It's Thursday night. It's Fadernight. It's open lines. I'm speaking with you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Concord, Northern California.
Concord. Wow. You know what's cool
Yeah.
about Concord? You guys have that
What's cool about
sign.
Concord?
You have that sign over the city. So when you're pulling in, you know you're in Concord.
That you do.
Yes.
That you definitely do.
Yeah.
So,
You know what?
caller,
Hold
long-time
on.
listener.
Hold on, Misty. You laughed
Yes.
when I said Concord, right? I like Concord. Why is it that people from Concord aren't, when people are excited about Concord, and when you're from Concord, you're like, I don't get what you're saying. Why is that? I think it's a beautiful town.
It's a gorgeous town. I've loved living here. I think there's a certain modesty that comes with living here because a lot of us commute
Right.
to larger cities.
Yes, that's
for,
true. That's true.
You know, our job.
Right.
So I think that there might be a little bit of modesty there, but it's a gorgeous little town. I love living here.
Yeah, it's amazing. Concord is an amazing town. And you guys
I'm glad
definitely,
you think so.
I think what it is you don't want people to move there. You want to keep it to yourselves. You want to keep it your own little secret.
A hometown secret.
Right. I think that's what it is. Oh, I love Concord. No, you don't. And don't tell your friends that you love it. it's kind of like that. All right. Misty, what's on your mind?
So, as I mentioned before, I'm a first-time caller. My husband is a very avid fan. Sean from NorCal.
Right on.
And we've been married for a short while, but he got me very much into your show, so I appreciate that. But anyhow, one of the things that has been on my mind lately is what's called the Mojave phone booth.
Oh, you're going old school. Wow.
I am, with a twist of an update, I hope.
Have you been there? Tell me you've been there.
I've been through there.
Okay.
So my family lives in Arizona. They live in Prescott, and I live in Northern California. So you have to drive kind of through that stretch of nothingness to get to the Arizona state. And so I've been through there. I have not personally visited the Mojave phone booth, but after some recent research, I'm inclined to do so on my next visit to my family, which is hopefully coming up soon. And so the reason for my call is that for those of us that are listening that don't know, the Mojave phone booth was essentially established back in the phone booth days, if everybody remembers, like the Pac Bell phone booth, back in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, as kind of a waypoint for travelers that were traveling through this really long stretch of central Southern California that didn't really have a lot of gas stations or contact points. And then once phone booths became obsolete, the Mojave phone booth was kind of retired. But in recent searches that I've done on Reddit, on Google, the basic channels, I found a phone number for the Mojave phone booth. And when I just really curiously called this number, it was this really random conference line, and a very automated robotic person would be like, "You are now connected. There are 2 other callers on the line." And so at first I was really apprehensive. I used a VPN, I was really careful. And then I tried to call from different numbers. And then eventually I guess I kind of grew a little bit bold. So I was like, "Hello, is anybody else out there on the line?"
I used to listen to recordings, and okay, now let's help the audience understand, just in case they don't know what we're talking about. Back in I was first made aware of it in the 90s. And I remember it seems like there was a website dedicated to it with the phone number, and people would go out. Well, anyway, the bottom line is this. The phone booth sat out in the middle of nowhere at the intersection of a couple of roads. Nothing there, just a phone booth. And the people would go out, and there was some mystery behind it too as well. There was a paranormal aspect to it. But anyway, people would go out and pick up. It would wait, and the phone would ring, and people would pick it up and just talk to
whoever else was on the other line.
Right. And people would camp out, campers, their RVs, wait for their chance to get on the phone. It was like crazy town, the Mojave phone booth.
You raised such an important point that I hadn't pointed out in like my quick, kind of summary of it, that it was like a nomadic waypoint for travelers and all sorts of other people who had heard about this. Hey, it's gonna ring, pick it up, and like these really intentional and thoughtful conversations would come of that. And so by word of mouth, all of these travelers and folks that were traveling through the region would, stop at this phone booth and pick up the calls that rang when they were there.
It was unbelievably fascinating. And I would spend, I'll admit it, I'll just admit it right now in front of this audience, I would sit and listen to these conversations for hours. And they were amazing. And I couldn't wait to get home and sign on to the net to see if somebody posted more. And it was a huge, huge phenomenon. And I'm not sure, I want to say this was 95, 96, 97, right at the dawn of the internet. And to have this story on the internet made the internet more fascinating. That things like this were going on out there in the world. It was really cool, but you never made it there. Did they take it down and put it back up?
So different sources report different things, but according to different sources, it's been restored, it's been removed. Who knows? Actually, I made this call kind of in advance of my own little adventure to see if it's still there. This year, with COVID and all this stuff going on, I want to take a road trip, and this is one thing that, if there's somebody else calling on the other end, I would love to answer it. But yeah, who knows, right? But the whole purpose of my call is that I found it so interesting that when I kind of looked up the number and called it, I was connected to this very robotic conference line where apparently other people were connected to it, but not. So somebody's maintaining that somewhere, but who,
Right. So the phone number.
The mystery continues.
Right. So you're saying that the phone number is still active, right? Anybody can get the number, but it's not going to the phone booth. Now it's just a conference line where anybody could call in. It's not the same.
Right.
When was the last time you called the number? I called it. I talked about this. I went to my friends. And I had that number with me for a while in my early cell phones. And I was telling my friends about it. I was like, man, the Mojave phone booth. Got everybody talking about it. And I would have people come up to me in the office. Dude, I called the number last night. I talked to somebody in Kansas City. And that was there standing by the booth. And they actually picked it up. And I couldn't believe it. So I called it. I never talked to anybody. I called it in the heyday, too, and it just rang and rang and rang. And I'm going to guess and say this was mid-90s, maybe a little later, I guess, but somewhere in there. But I never had a conversation, but I called the number many times.
Yeah, so the last time I called it actually was just as recently, maybe about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, you
and
did?
And that's what I did, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's when I discovered like this really awkward robotic conference line. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to sit on there. Just like a caveat to that, like I'm a social worker, you know, I do crisis response and stuff. So I thought like, hey, if there's anybody else on the other end, especially with what we're going through now, you know, like I would love to have a conversation. So like, you know, I'm going to sit there, I'm going to say hello. And to be honest, the first couple of times I called, I was kind of scared because I was like, oh gosh, it's the FBI tracing me or who knows, you know, right? But by the third time that I called over the past, I'd say about 5 or 6 weeks or so, about 3 weeks ago, I was like, hey, hello, is anybody out there? No, I'm here.
You know what's really funny? Have you seen a documentary called The Institute?
I haven't.
Okay, write that
but
down.
I feel like
Misty?
I should because you're telling me
okay,
about
Misty,
it. So, okay.
Write this down. It's called The Institute. I think that you can see it on Netflix. Okay. Now, go and watch it. And what is interesting, I'm not going to give anything away. And in fact, I want the audience to just go and watch The Institute. And when you see it kick off in the beginning, it's a documentary. And where it starts off, it's crazy town. And this is the thing. I don't want to give it away. But the idea behind the Mojave phone booth and picking up a pay phone when it rings, right? You don't know who's on the other end, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
that element of surprise is part of this documentary, The Institute. You've got to watch it.
Like
You've got, and you know what? And this is the thing. You're in Concord.
I am.
This is about you. Okay. All right. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
The Institute.
We'll check out The Institute. It's on Netflix.
You'll thank me
Really
later.
Check that out. Thank you, Jimmy.
You'll thank me later.
Misty from Concord.
Misty.
Take care.
Go back, Lee Tappy. Thank you for the phone call.
Go back, Lee Tappy, to you as well.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a great phone call. First time caller. And now, listen, the Mojave phone booth is part of my history. When it comes to my original journeys on the internet, going back to UFOmind.com and all of the craziness that was the internet in 1995, 96, 97, the Mojave phone booth was part of that. And it took up a chunk of my life. I can't believe that Misty called in and brought that up tonight. The Mojave phone booth was a big deal. That was a really big deal on the internet back then. So with that, check out The Institute. If you haven't heard of it, then fine. I've just tipped you off. It's called The Institute. I'm not sure exactly when it was made, but it's right there on Netflix. And this is what documentaries are all about. And I can guarantee that where it starts out and how they lay it out and the way that it ends, holy smokes. That is a documentary to end all documentaries. So go and check that out. I'm going to take my break. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is Fadernight. Open lines all night long. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. One segment left. I'll be right back.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, Reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at jimmychurchradio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fadernight. Last segment of the night. 747-228-2051. I just like saying it. There it is, the Mojave phone booth. You need to check out that documentary. It is called The Institute. Just check it out. That's all. Just watch it. Just watch it. You'll thank me later. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Karen. That's it right there. All right. Let's go back to the phones. I've had this, remember that call earlier? Been on hold now for 45 minutes to see if they're now ready. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
You're live.
Hello?
Okay, you're live. Last chance. 3.
Hello?
Okay, all right. That's it. That's it. See, that's it. That's it. You gotta be ready to go, man. You got to be ready to go. That's all. Hello. Oh, man. All right. Here we go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy,
Yes.
thank you for taking me out of the corner.
I didn't take you out of the corner.
You didn't? I thought you did.
No. Did you? Did I
No.
pose? Did I pose?
But I broke out.
Okay. All right. All right. Just this once.
I'm behaving.
Well, that's to be determined. That's TBD.
I know. Can I say happy birthday, Corey, baby love?
Yes, you
favorite.
can.
Love him.
Now you're just brown nosing. Oh, okay.
Oh no,
I see
Corey.
your
I love
approach.
Corey. He's one of my crew.
Okay, all right.
Love Corey. So, real quick, did you ever post the Elvis statue picture?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
We want to see it. All I see are pictures of dirt.
That's all there is right now. We're still compacting. There's some other things that are going in. There's lots of marble and stone and walls and things that need to be. It's got to be appropriate. So
foundation. Now, when you say we, are you forcing Rita to do manual labor?
No, we have a whole. No. As a matter of fact,
yes.
We are observers. This time around,
Good.
we have an entire crew that is here over at the house, I should say, bright and early in the morning, and so 4 hours sleep, and I'm up and hanging out with the guys. So there you go.
Oh, are you making them laugh all day long?
The best that I can. Actually, today I was cracking a couple of jokes that didn't get a response. I was like, man, my humor, what's going on? And
it's hard labor. You need to pump some River Moon coffee into those guys.
We've been doing that. No, don't think that we don't do that. But, it's hot and everything else. And so, yeah, my jokes weren't flying today.
Maybe try a cat of nine tails.
What is that?
A whip.
Oh, no, come on. You're back in the corner.
No.
Okay. All right. So what's on your mind? What's going on?
So I wanted to tell you two things. So a while back, you mentioned ayahuasca. Matter of fact, you guys did a show on it. And it reminded me that not too long ago, probably 4 months ago, Dave Schrader did the ayahuasca experience, and he did a whole show on it. And he had a specialist, a woman that helped him through the whole thing, and he brought her on the show with him and took him step by step through the whole show, meticulous details about his experience, and it was incredible. And I want to say the two things that he came out of it with was, he's always had this profound fear of death. He always talks about that. And he said he doesn't have that fear anymore.
Oh, that's interesting. So are you saying he drank ayahuasca on the air, or he did the ceremony separate and then came out and talked about it? Okay.
Thank you. The latter, yes. And so this woman, he raves about, and the other thing was about the experience he saw his deceased mother.
Wow,
so it was really a wonderful experience.
So wait a minute. Schrader lives in Minneapolis. So he's got
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's Minnesota. The last time I checked.
Okay.
I didn't say Indianapolis. I said Minneapolis.
I'm geographically challenged.
That's okay. But so Schrader's got a shaman that lives in Minnesota, and he's got access to ayahuasca in the land of 1,000 lakes. I would have never thought. Well, okay, all right. So Schrader's got it going on. He's got the connections. Very interesting.
Yeah, well, and what he said was, I don't know that he did it where he lives because he'd been on the show, and it was right after finishing taping, I think, the Holzer files, or they were on break. So I don't know if he did it from Minnesota or if he went somewhere to do it and have the ceremony with the lady that took him through it. But she was very highly recommended, and that's why he brought her on the show, and she walked him through the whole experience. And he was ever saying that if somebody ever wants to come to a point in their life where they want to do this, this is the person he would hook you up with, and he really recommends her, and he totally trusted her, and it turned out to be a good experience. So when you guys were talking about it,
right.
I've been meaning to tell you about it, and then we always get sidetracked onto something else. So when you're ready, hook up with Schrader, and he'll steer you down that path if you ever want to do it.
Ain't gonna happen. Happen. No, it ain't gonna.
Okay.
Not ayahuasca. That's a firm commitment. That's a firm psychological, life-changing, life-altering commitment. DMT. Yeah. That's another situation altogether. That's 10 minutes. That's 15 minutes of commitment. You're in and out and sober. That's something I would consider, and I can see that happening at some point, and I look forward to that. Ayahuasca and a 24-hour shamanic ceremony and everything else that goes on.
I think you said it was maybe 4 hours.
Oh, he did the Minnesota dose.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the Terrence McKenna. Going down to Ecuador and Peru and doing a real ceremony and going out to the edge of the cliff with a bunch of eagle's feathers. That's a commitment, and I just don't see that. Not for me. That's not going to happen. But DMT, I would do it, and I have the right friends. I have the right shamans, and it's just a phone call away and things. But it's got to be at the right time, the right moment, and ready for it. So there you go.
Okay.
All right.
The Social Dilemma.
So the Social Dilemma.
Social Dilemma. You told us to watch it. I watched it twice.
Yep.
I watched it when we went to Tahoe. My friend always takes his laptop because he does work on it, and they've got Netflix on there. So I wanted the three of us to watch it together because they are completely opposite of me politically. So we literally have a hard rule that we do not talk about politics when we're together. And sometimes they break the rule, and then I have to steer them off course and go, look, I don't want to argue with you guys. I love you. You're my best friends. So let's not do this, And so I have to, reroute them. And that's why I wanted the three of us to watch this together. And and we even get into conversations sometimes, Jimmy, where it's like they want to talk about politics and then they tag team me and I feel ganged up on. And they'll say, don't you watch the news? What bubble are you living in? So that's why after I watched The Social Dilemma once on the trip, I'm like, you guys, we got to see this together. And I just shut up and I let them watch it. And the biggest revelation was the thing about how we're all in our own bubble, how they target us into our own bubble, and that you're thinking, my friends are smart. They must be seeing the same media I'm seeing. Why aren't they figuring this out? Don't they watch the news? And that was and we were all laughing hysterically when that part came up, and it broke down walls, and it was really constructive and great.
And then you realize that you were the crazy one.
That I'm being run by algorithms.
Yeah. And
yeah.
And so the social dilemma for all of us, because all of us are connected to the internet. It doesn't matter. You can say, I only have an email account. I'm not. No, you are not. You're influenced by it. And your friends are, and therefore you are influenced by that. All of it. Well, anyway, you watch the social dilemma, and then you realize that everything that you were confident about in your reality about the world, about politics, about religion, about sports, about cats and dogs and your friends, and where you thought that you were in control and that you were right and that your belief system was in check. And then you realize that it's not even yours. It's somebody else, and it is inside of your head. Look, I was very fortunate that I was 15 years old, and I had some older friends. They were in the Army, okay, husband and wife. They were both in the military, in the Army, and they lived up the street from me. They were very cool. They were friends of my dad's. My dad was in the Army, and that's how I met them. Well, anyway, they were very cool, and they were probably in their mid-20s. They were probably 10 years older than me at that point. But anyway, this guy, Steve, wrote in my yearbook, and I thought enough of them for me to take my yearbook and say, man, would you sign my yearbook? Well, anyway, Steve wrote in my yearbook, things are never what they seem. That was his autograph, right? That's how he signed my yearbook. And I took it home and I read that over and over again. Things are never what they seem. So I went back to Steve. And I said, explain this to me. And he kind of smiles and he sits me down. He said, man, this world, and you got to remember, this is 1978. Everything is a lie. And I was like, what? But explain. I'm not understanding. He said, everything is a lie. Everything. The world is fake. And people are going to mess with your head. So when they do, just remember that things are never what they seem. And I took that with me, and I've lived by those words for the next 40 years, all the way to today, and I'm talking to you about it now. And so when I go and see something like The Social Dilemma, I just back up and go, I know. I've known this all along. You know, but it took The Social Dilemma for people to go out there and realize, especially today in the world that we're in with this internet and social media, that you're being manipulated for real. I mean, this is not George Orwell fantasy ha-ha stuff. This is for real. So when anybody speaks today, and that includes you, Deb, and you say something, whatever it is, it's not you speaking. You think it's you speaking. You think it's not. It's crazy. And so all you need to do is just step back and realize that's actually what is going on. And The Social Dilemma is the title of the film. I think The Social Experiment Gone Wrong is a little more factual. And it just spun out of control. I don't know how we're going to get it back. I don't know how we're going to.
But the way that they played it out and showed, the people supposedly that are inside, the network that are sending the messages, the way they played it out and showed and illustrated it was very clever, and it really got the message through. And boy, the lights went on. I was just like, you're right. Everything that you think that you're reading and seeing and everything, and it's being planted in your brain. And then the part that bothers me is, how do we get unaddicted from these devices? I mean, like our phones, for when I say devices, laptop, whatever, how do we break? Because it is a physical addiction, and it's been worse for me since I've been on Twitter. I hate to say, it's been a lot worse.
Well, you got to, but this is the thing. All you have to do, and this is what I do, you have to just stop and remember, you're always putting yourself in check. Remember that everybody else that you're interacting with in Twitter is in the same boat as you. You're not necessarily interacting with somebody on Twitter. You're interacting with their representative. You got to look at it that way, that they are approaching it. Remember that, and especially if you're going to say something in Twitter, whether it's about politics or religion or UFOs or ghosts, whatever it is that you're going to post, people are going to react to it in their own way. It's not your way. It's in their way. That's it. And that's what's really going on. It's a bizarro. Was it Superman that had Bizarro World? Was it Superman? Right? The alternate.
I don't know.
It's the alternate parallel world of
I don't
Superman.
recall that.
But that's what you're venturing into. You don't know.
It's like a really bad game of telephone times 100.
Well, and
it's
so
more effed up than you can imagine.
Well, and that's why when people respond to you, or you're responding to them, you've got to think about that, how they're interpreting it and how you are interpreting them. And then you go and you meet them in real life, and you will do that. You're going to go to a conference, and you are going to meet the other Fadernauts on Twitter, and maybe somebody that you butted heads with, and you're going to find out that they are the coolest, that everything that they posted on Twitter isn't even close to who they are in real life. It's strange. It's absolutely strange. Like IPD, right? Idea Petrie,
love him.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
I'm happy to say that everyone I interact with, I love, and we all get along well. All of them. I love all the Fadernauts.
I've met him. hung out with him, broke bread with him, and had hours-long conversations sitting on a park bench. And he can tell you all about it, right? The guy that I met in person and the guy that is on here on Twitter, people don't know, right? They don't know. He comes off, and he knows I love him to death, right? But he comes off as strange and crazy and kooky and technical and nerdy and this and really in person he is all of that, but he's not. He's a very funny, cool, grounded individual. The persona, the IPD that's on Twitter, and it does and people are going to misinterpret that. And that's where we are with social media today. It's funny. It's really funny. I'm glad that you watched it, and hopefully now you know that it's not you talking. Your mouth is moving because of somebody else. Your brain is thinking because of what somebody else has been doing. And that's all. And look, Deb, this is one of the reasons why I have realized this. I've been on the air tonight for 3 hours. That is 3 hours with no internet. I've got the Twitter feed, #F2B, right? But I'm not on my cell phone. I'm not in social media. I'm going to get off the air. I'm not going to do and I am able to disconnect from the internet 3 hours a night every day. There is nobody that can say that they can do that. You can't. You can't. Deb, you got to put down your phone for the next 3 hours. No internet. What? No.
No, I do, actually.
No, you don't. Deb. It's okay. It's just the way that it is.
What do you monitor? Hey, you can't. No, yes, I do. There are some nights I do where I just log off and that's it. And I watch a movie or whatever, and I don't get back on Twitter till morning. And then there are other nights.
Well, that's only because you're sleeping.
No, I'm a night owl. I used to work graveyard for 8 years, so I'm one of those graveyard workers, and I'm up all night. I sleep during the days.
Well, let me get to these other phone calls, Deb. Have a great weekend, and go back Lee Tappy.
Hey, real quick, can you tell Rita that I sent her a message yesterday, and it's important? Can she just check it and respond?
Well, she's listening. You just told her. Oh. There you go.
Okay.
I'll talk to you. Thanks, Deb. Go back Lee Tappy. You too.
Bye.
Go back Lee Tappy. That's a great phone. I'm being serious, too. If you are, I get it, right? I am able to, because of this show, not be on the internet for 3 hours a night. There you go. Can you do it? Can you do it? Maybe there should be. That's what if there was government regulation instituted on social media where suddenly for 3 hours every single day you're shut off. Shut off. You can use your phone for phone calls. Wow. That would change things. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, my name's Ben.
You're live. Who's calling?
Good evening. My name's Ben.
You're breaking up, man.
I'm sorry. I don't know if it's working any better.
Yeah, we got a bad connection here. Walk around your house, get some bars going, and we'll see what we can make happen here before the end of the show. I'll bring in one last quick call. Jimmy, big fat no. I know, right? That's Julie of York. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy C.
Yes.
What are you doing, buddy?
Who's this?
Scotty.
Hey, Scotty, how are you? What's going on?
Your favorite rocker, right?
Yeah, what's going on? No, I've got other favorite rockers. You're up there, though.
Hey, you know what? Ron Keel. Do you want to talk Ron Keel or Stevie Ray Vaughan?
I'm wondering if Ron might be listening right now. Yeah, okay.
I would love it.
Let's talk.
Let's talk, Ron.
You know what's funny? I just got a couple of minutes, but I got this email from Ron. Hope he's listening. A couple of days ago, and he goes, "Man, I just want to let you know, man, that Fade to Black and it's right there in the email. I want to thank you for the show." And he mentions Coast to Coast, and I think he mentioned Richard Sirrett but Fade to Black, right? He gets it. And with the list of what he put in the email, I was like, man, Ron bleeping Keel on board, man. And I always knew that, he's such a great guy, and I followed him for years. But how cool is that? He's going to be on with us next week.
That is really cool because if you look at his biography, it's insanity. This guy's been everywhere. He's done country music. He's done everything. When I came out first in, I think it was like 83, 84, I had an apartment right off of Sherman Way, like in Reseda. And these guys came in and out of this upstairs building, and they had long hair. And I'm just arriving in Los Angeles. And I was going to Dick Wolf School of Music. I just got out of Berklee School of Music, and I met these guys, and it was Michael Dunnigan and Tim Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling me that they were in a band called Keel. And I said, what? And they handed me this tape. It was Keel, which was Ron Keel, and they were playing on KLOS, and they were going to be the next big thing. And I had this tape today. But then for some reason, Ron left these guys, and he brought in Yngwie Malmsteen and Rick Fox, who we were both friends with, and started
Steeler.
The Ron Keel band.
No,
Steeler,
that was
yes.
Steeler. That was Steeler.
Yes.
And,
Cold Day in Hell and all these other songs.
Cold Day in Hell, Backseat Driver, Hot on Your Heels. God, that's a great track. And
great
I think Mark Edwards was on drums. And that was a great band. And then when that kind of Yngwie left, and I think he went to go. I think Yngwie went
Alcatraz, right?
Alcatraz with Graham Bonnet, and so I think he brings in Kurt James. And Kurt, who's been on the show, he's probably listening right now too. And,
badass guy.
Yeah, amazing. But
didn't Ron Keel play with Black Sabbath too?
Who?
Ron Keel didn't go with Black Sabbath.
I remember that rumor going around L.A. that Ron Keel was going to be the next singer for Black Sabbath, and that he was singing for Sabbath. I remember that. Now this is the thing, and I suppose I can talk to Ron about this next week. But that it didn't as much respect as I have for Ron, and it's way up there, man. The guy, he had. This is the thing, and still does. You go and you look at all of his stuff and you listen to his music today, he has got everything. He's got the look. He's got the ability to write. He's got the pipes. He's always had around him an amazing band. And that's the thing. I can't, Mark Ferrari, right? Oh, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's always been able to do that. Great singers, great frontmen, great personalities, great creators attract the right musicians, which means they play in tune, they play in time, they're writing the right stuff. They sound great live. They can go into the studio and get it. I'm talking about a band. And Ron has always done that, man. But that being said, I didn't see him fronting Sabbath. It wasn't. That's not.
I think
Ron
it was like
Keel.
in 84, 83, or something like that. Maybe
no, it was later.
Some sort of brief thing.
Yeah, it was later. But it's just that's not Ron's deal. That's not Ron's thing.
Gene Simmons, I think, produced like a couple of his albums.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the Right to Rock and the Final Frontier, something like that.
You're a musical pillar of knowledge, but I would say that my memory says that Gene Simmons produced maybe the first 2 Keel records. I don't
sold
know.
something like 2 or 3 million records. It was amazing.
Wow. What are you doing, man? Are you reading the Rock and Roll Almanac on the air?
No. Let me tell you something. I was very jealous of Keel because I came out here and I met some of Vic's band members, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Well, he's going to be on with this.
He's been an inspiration to me.
Yeah, all of us. I'm just a huge
blue collar all the way, man.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm now a minute and a half over, so I'm going to say, Scott, great to hear your voice. I'm going to roll credits while I got you here because I got no time to say goodnight. So you just stay right there. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Camarion. Show's produced by Hill J. Palm, Renee Dennis, and Kevin is back. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmasters, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, syndication KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast only copyrighted 2020 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Say goodnight, Scott. Say goodnight.
Peace be with you. Good night.
Fade
to Black.
Go back, Lee Teppy. Everybody have a great, safe weekend. I'll see you on Monday.